Thank you. Thank you very much, and I would like to also extend a welcome to all of you to this first MacWorld in Tokyo. I know the people who attended the original introduction of the Macintosh in January of 1984 always remember being there for the first time, because there can only be one first time. So I hope that this will be a great memory for all of us, that this is the first time that there has been a MacWorld in Tokyo. For Apple, this event is a very symbolic one, because in the 1990s, what was a young company that started in Silicon Valley begins to move out to become a much larger global corporation. And it is impossible to be a global leader without having strong relationships and a strong position in Japan. As we look out into the future, the role that Japan will play in the computer industry will be a very important one. For us at Apple, we began a long-term plan to establish our commitment to the Japanese market. After several years of preparation, Apple was accepted as the first NASDAQ company to be listed by the Tokyo Stock Exchange last September. To celebrate that event, we held the first board of directors meeting for Apple Computer in Tokyo. And only a few weeks following that event, we had a worldwide introduction of 3 major new Macintosh computers. And for the first time, this was a simultaneous launch, with these products being introduced into the Japanese market at the same time they were introduced into the American market and the European market and other markets around the world. In early November, Apple Computer became a sponsor of the Janet Jackson Tour. And this was another symbolic moment, because it showed an Apple that was raising its profile in the Japanese market. And now here we are in February 1990 at MacWorld Expo in Tokyo. And once again, we hope that this will be another important event in the long-term plan for Apple Computer. I might add that Apple Computer is the first and only computer company to offer Japanese customers abroad the same technology, same Japanese applications on a Macintosh that is found here in Japan. And we think that this is a further indication of the internationalization that is taking place in your country, and the increasing important role for technologies to be able to cross the boundaries of nations. In terms of Apple Japan's own story, I am pleased to report to you that in the last fiscal quarter of 1990, that the sales for Macintosh computers in Japan increased in units by greater than 130%. In December, a survey was conducted of all computer companies, and I am pleased to tell you that Apple Computer received the second highest ratings in this survey for brand preference, only surpassed by NEC. The Macintosh Classic is turning out to be a winner across the world. And the Macintosh LC, the lowest cost color Macintosh, is now available in large quantities, and we are very optimistic based upon the bookings that we are seeing across the world that this too will be another important milestone product. The Macintosh SI, introduced last fall, has met or surpassed all of our goals for its sales. And I'm also pleased to tell you that we have 5 times as many developers for Japanese Macintosh applications as we had just 1 year ago. The goal of Apple Computer is to be the industry's innovator in human-centered computing technologies. And this will take many forms in terms of Apple's directions for the 1990s. It includes the expansion of our Macintosh product line with 3 design centers, high performance, portables, and high volume products like the Macintosh Classic and Macintosh LC. It includes a greater role in the systems market, and you'll be hearing more about our plans in this segment later on this year. You will see Apple become an important innovator in pen-based computing technologies in this decade. And you will see us become a leader in innovations for multimedia technologies as well. So today I will be talking about Apple's multimedia vision for the 1990s. In the 1980s, perhaps the most significant technology was the development of the microprocessor itself, becoming less expensive and more powerful. And while that trend will continue in the 1990s, perhaps doubling in performance every 18 months, as we have seen in the past, there are far more important trends than the improvement of processor performance. And these are trends that have begun some years ago and are accelerating, and they are converging. Computing is becoming more and more affordable and easier to use. Communications is becoming more and more accessible and will be built in to more computers in the future. And content is becoming digitized to the point that almost everything will be accessible in a digitized format for computers in the 1990s. But it isn't just what is happening with each of these trends by themselves that is important. It is the result of this convergence and the opportunity that is created by new industry segments that may well emerge. Now, I think this concept of the convergence of computing, communications, and content can best be understood by the idea of paradigm shift. As many of you know, a paradigm shift means a discontinuous change from the past, something that could not be anticipated by merely projecting forward what had already happened. So, for example, there was no way that we could have known when calculators, pocket calculators, were a booming industry, that there would be another industry that would materialize in only a few years later called the personal computer industry. There was a discontinuous change or a paradigm shift. So this idea of the P, of the paradigm shift, is an important one in many different industries. For example, in computing, the first paradigm, P1, was in the early days of computing, when the experts were at the center of the user universe. Today, we know that personal computers have actually exceeded the revenue of mainframe computers worldwide, and now it is the empowerment of individuals that is the center of the computing industry's attention. But as we look out into tomorrow, out into the 1990s and beyond into the 21st century, we see a further movement towards the empowerment of groups made up of individuals with increasingly more powerful and easy-to-use tools, but working together in team efforts. In the first paradigm of computing, computers were located in a special room, an air-conditioned facility for large mainframe devices. Today, we know the computer best as a desktop device. And yet, as we look to the future, we believe that it will no longer be necessary for someone to have to go to a special place, the desk, in order to do their computing for a few minutes or a few hours a day. We call the next paradigm the whole person paradigm, meaning that the computer becomes a part of your life experiences, and it can go where you go. It can put you into communications with whomever you need to have access with, and also access to whatever information that is important to you. We know that the applications for the first paradigm computers were essentially numeric. It was the manipulation of tables of numbers, the processing of data. Today, applications largely focus on the display of information, the use of graphics, of electronic publishing. Tomorrow, the bandwidth of that expression will be considerably expanded as the power of technology at lower price points makes it affordable and available for a wide range of media choices, not only text and graphics, but animation, sound, and video. The early computers were centrally located, and for large organizations, this meant a hierarchy of command and control from the top. Today, we know that the organizations in most of the world are going through radical reform and change. We are seeing flatter organizations. We're seeing fewer layers. We're seeing the network becoming the metaphor, not the hierarchy. And this, again, is a reflection of the power of the paradigm of the personal computer. But tomorrow, we believe that that will be extended to spontaneous collaboration, where people will be able to work together in ways that were not possible when they were anchored to their desktops. What I would like to do now is to give you some demonstrations of some of the media integration technologies that we have in the Macintosh, so that as you go around the exhibit today, you can appreciate what the vision of Apple has been of why we continue to focus on unique technologies that take advantage of integrating media, even though there are many others, really the rest of the industry, that has chosen other paths. And why the Macintosh is today, we believe, seeing so much growth with its new products as these technologies are moved from strategically the high end of our product line to focusing innovation at the lowest possible price point. First of all, I'd like to talk about input devices, because for many people in their 30s and 40s, the idea of a keyboard is very intimidating. And when we talk about products for non-experts, we must be able to reach out to those people who wouldn't use computers because they have no familiarity with keyboards. So I would like to invite out to give us a demonstration Jenny Sumikawa, who is going to show us a new input device called Mac Handwriter. Good morning, Jenny.
Good morning.
And what are you going to show us here?
What we have here today is the world's first desktop pen input system. And on top of that, it works in Japanese.
Now I see here you've got hiragana and katakana. And I know that is the two phonetic alphabets, one for grammar and the other for foreign words.
That's correct. And let me just first show you the writing pad. As you can see, it's about the same size as a mouse. And we have a pen, cordless pen, that is pressure sensitive, which replaces both the keyboard and the mouse.
I see. Now, does this require special software, or is this?
No, it is the unique thing about the handwriter is that it is handled at the system level. And so it is application independent.
Now, how would, if someone were using a Japanese word processor and they wanted to display kanji fonts, how would they do that now?
Right. Traditionally, with the keyboard input method, you phonetically input in kana and then convert to the kanji characters.
So it would be inline translation.
That's right.
And
But
how do you do it?
With the Mac handwriter, you eliminate the extra steps with the keyboard by directly inputting in Japanese. Let me just show you here. We have the Japanese input area, the Roman input area, and the symbols input area, as well as a numeric keypad area. And if I input in hiragana, I write one character per box. Ki, sa, ga, na. And to input katakana, much in the same way, ka, ta, ka, na. And then with kanji, all right. And just as you may mistype, you can miswrite a character. So we'll do it again.
Does this work on only the high-performance Macintoshes? Or?
It runs on every single model of Macintosh. And here I've written Tegaki de nyuroku dekimasu.
What does that mean?
And that means that you can input with your own handwriting.
Wonderful.
And also, on top of the Japanese, it handles Roman input, which is commonly used in Japanese. Let me just write something here. Something very near and dear to your heart.
Mac, I can read that. Now, what about applications, though? I can see why it would be interesting to be able to do input like this, but really, no one wants to wait until all the applications are converted over to Mac Handwriter.
Right, and that is not necessary with the handwriter, again, because it works at the system level, and it is application independent. So just as easily as you would with the keyboard and mouse, switch from application to application, you can also do that with the handwriter.
So what are we looking at now? This is,
here we have a simple spreadsheet with some sales numbers.
So this is an Excel spreadsheet.
That's correct. And let me just make a few changes to the northern region here. And I'm using the numeric keypad.
Now, will that work as fast as...
it's just as simple as a calculator. Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to learn how to use Mac Handwriter?
Just a few hours to get used to the way it recognizes characters.
Now, I know that one of the strengths of the Macintosh has always been the consistency of applications. Is that important for this product?
Yes, it's the Mac Handwriter uses the same interface as all Macintosh applications.
Great. Can I have a try?
Sure. Let's go to a drawing program.
So this is like flowers.
Mac Draw. And if I can just have you write your signature for everybody. Let me try one more time.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'm not as good as you are. Jenny, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'd like to show you a program myself now. This happens to be a Macintosh LC. This is our lowest cost color Macintosh. And just as Jenny said in describing the Mac Handwriter, that the strength of the Mac Handwriter is the fact that it uses the system software in the toolbox. This is an application called KidPix, which is a paint program. You may remember that the first paint program was developed by Bill Atkinson at Apple, also the inventor of HyperCard. And that first paint program was a relatively simple idea. Today, paint programs have many different objects, many things that you can use as utilities. But what makes this one special is that not only is it color with many objects, but it incorporates sound. And I believe it's going to be the subtle balance of sound, animation, color, graphics. That these things, as they work together, will start to shape a much more interesting experience for people with personal computing. Now, because we build this into every Macintosh, in the case of the Macintosh LC, there's a microphone that comes bundled with it, and that means that with the system software and this microphone device, that application developers know that they can target for sound out, which is in every Macintosh, as well as sound in. So let me give you an example. What I'm going to do is to draw a little figure here. And just finish that off. Now I can go over and get some objects. There's a little stamp here, and I'll look around and find what I want. Let's see. Oh, here, some eyes. And what I'm going to do is take those objects, and I'll just put them in place. How's that? And why don't we give him a nice smile. Like that. Now, I can go into the color fill-in and pick a color. Let's see. I think I'll try this color. Now, I don't know if I like that color, so I think I'll change it, and I go over to the oops button. Change it, and I'll pick a different color. And let's fill it again. There we go. Now, this is February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, so I think it would be appropriate if we do something that would recognize that. So I'm going to get a heart. I can just pick these objects up. In fact, I can, and if I don't like that, I can just take them away. But so I'll put a few hearts on here. So I want to dress this up a little bit. All right. Now, why don't we add a little bit of sound to that? So I'm going to record a sound. Hello, I'd like to wish Happy Valentine's Day to all of my friends at the first MacWorld Tokyo. And I'll stop that, save it. Now I can go up here and play that back. Hello, I'd like to wish Happy Valentine's Day to all of my friends at the first MacWorld Tokyo. And I'll stop that. Now, when you want to erase something and go on to a clean sheet of paper, there are a lot of different ways you can do it. You can go and do this. You don't want to do it that way. Let's try it another way. For example, let's try this way. And you can see animation is actually built into the system because the applications in a Macintosh, particularly graphics ones, are inside the Macintosh toolbox about 70 or 80% of the time. They aren't running on top of the operating system. They're running inside of the toolbox. There are about 500 system calls inside of the toolbox. And the application developers know those calls are there, and so they can take advantage of it. So there are many ways that you can use animation, graphics, sound now with the microphone, sound in, sound out, as well as the facilities that we're used to in Macintosh for all of these years. So now let's put this away. And
wow!
And we're going to go over to another demonstration. This time, again, looking at media integration, but you may be familiar with a concept called virtual reality. Now, virtual reality is the idea that you create your own world experience, and then you have the ability to directly manipulate that experience, to become involved inside of it. In fact, to be able to go inside of rooms and navigate around. But the problem is that this technology has, up until now, only been available on extremely powerful computer systems, usually costing millions of dollars, on an experimental basis with groups like NASA and others looking at it for the potential of being able to better understand not only issues with space, but in medicine, being able to go inside a cell and understanding what's happening in a bacteria cell, for example, understanding flow dynamics of a problem, being able to actually get inside of a system as opposed to just modeling the system from the outside. Well, there is now a capability on the Macintosh to do many of those same kinds of things. And I would like now to invite Fabio Pettinati to come out and tell us a little bit about it. Good morning, Fabio. How are you?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Okay, what we have here is a prime example of a computer-aided visualization tool that allows you to build three-dimensional models and experience them like if they were real. Okay, so just to give you an idea of what it does, this view here is the plant view, plant projection of a model of a TV studio.
So the plan view is really a top-down view, like a blueprint.
That's correct.
And we're looking at the whole studio.
That's correct.
And then
this little icon here shows where you are.
Okay.
And this view here, this color view, shows the three-dimensional perspective of that same building.
So these two are linked together.
Completely. So what I can do, and what I'll do now, is I'm going to move myself towards the building, go through the main door, into the lobby, down this hallway, and very carefully turn left, going towards the middle of this studio. Okay? Are you ready?
Sure. Let's give it a try.
Let's go. And as you can see, both views are synchronized.
Now, this isn't pre-taped or anything. I mean,
No.
You're in control now.
Yes.
So you can move around at your own will?
That's correct. On the fly. I'm going to turn left now. Hopefully, I will not go through the wall. Yes. Oh. And here, as you can see, you have a three-dimensional Apple logo. Okay, and on top of this logo, you have a ladybug, which is an image that we scanned. Now, this means that this application can apply textures to any object. I could have selected wood grain, granite, concrete, you name it.
So what we're looking at now is objects that are very abstract, but you're saying over time that you could actually have photorealistic objects.
Oh, yes, definitely. In time, we can do that. And now, because this is virtual reality, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the Apple, okay? And right here. And I'm going to be moving towards a projection screen with live video. So let me put this in the
okay, so now we're going to take a direct manipulation of virtual reality, and you're going to use media integration.
That's correct.
To be able to merge together live video.
Sure. Why don't you manipulate a little bit, and I'm going to tape you.
Okay, so I want to go over here. This is where I orient myself. And I can just sort of wander around the studio.
That's correct.
Okay, let's see what there is. Whoops, Apple Network. Went too far. So I could go any direction I want.
Yes,
so I could
definitely.
Zoom pull back.
Yes.
And then I can go forward. Let's see what's behind us.
Yeah.
Oops, there's the screen.
Here you are.
Okay, should I lock in on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
That's great.
Yeah.
So user in control. Thank you, Fabio.
Thank you.
Well, we've seen how it's possible to use media integration to have the user in control of their experience, even if it's a virtual reality world, how we can begin to integrate video as a part of that. But I said, remember, video is scalable in the future, that we want to be able to look at different levels of resolution for video as we have become familiar with in other forms of computing. And now I would like to invite out Karen Dillon from SuperMac, who is going to tell us a little bit about digital film. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, John.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
What are you going to show us?
I would like to show you digital film, a family of video compression and storage products. By fully digitizing the video and compressing it, video can be fully integrated into the Macintosh and reap all the benefits of digital information and storage. We can now work with video the same manner in which we've been working with graphics to date.
That's great. Can you show us how it works?
Yes. First, I'd like to show you an entry-level product. And what I will do is capture and compress video in real time, and then we'll play it back.
Now, is this using a digitizing card?
Yes, it is, but the compression is all being done in software.
Software, okay.
Yes.
So now, so you've got a Handycam.
Yes.
I remember talking about a year ago with Sony and saying, boy, we really need Control-L, on our Macintoshes so we can control different consumer devices. And they went beyond that and came out with Vista, which is a superset of Control-L.
Yes.
And now we can take up to 7 different kinds of devices, so VCRs, VHS, Betamax, Handycam porters, all of those things can now be input devices for media integration in the Macintosh.
Yes, those devices can be used to control this demo, for instance. First, let me capture you.
You want me to do anything special?
I'll just
kind of
step back
pose
here.
here with the Mac. I always enjoy doing that.
I'm going to be capturing about 20 seconds of video. Each of these frames is being compressed and digitized while you watch. And then we'll play it back for you.
Now, how many frames per second is this now?
This is approximately 10 frames per second, being done in 24-bit of color.
And how much compression is that?
About approximately 10 to 1 compression.
10 to 1. And you're storing that on a hard disk?
Yes.
Good.
And what we will do is it occupies about 4.5 megabytes for the video that you're seeing here. Let's play it back. Each frame is, again, as I said, being decompressed while you watch. And this is what we had just captured.
Well, that's pretty good, but a lot of people are going to want to have some scalable video with higher resolution. Can you give us an example of that?
Yes. For higher performance, video should be digitized and compressed in hardware. And what I will show you is a hardware demonstration of higher performance. What we will do here is decompress a video in real time, frame by frame. And again, this is being played back from a standard Macintosh hard drive. And I will access the video in the same manner in which you access any file on the Macintosh. This video should be familiar to all of you. Sound is being decompressed as well.
The first glorious anniversary of the information purification. In all history, a garden of pure ideology, where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of a force is more powerful a weapon than any fleet. What are we on earth? We are one people, with one will, one resolve, one cause. Our hands shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own hands. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Well, we remember that commercial when we introduced the original Mac, but was that all stored on the hard drive?
Yes, every single frame was stored on the hard drive and passed over standard SCSI new bus and decompressed frame by frame.
That's great. Karen, thanks an awful lot.
Thank you.
Well, what I'd like to do now is to show you a prototype of what I believe Paradigm 3 TV could be like in the 1990s. And this is a prototype which we actually developed in cooperation with CNN. And we showed this prototype at EduCom some months ago in Atlanta, Georgia. And to help me with that, I'd like to introduce Michael Chow. Morning, Michael.
Hi, John.
So these are all live demos, so let's hope everything goes great.
Well, I'm really excited with what we have to show you today. It has graphics, it's got sound, it's got video, and it's all ready to go. So if I just set it up here, right. If you click the mouse button for me, John. Oh, good.
Well, I want to apologize. But this does happen. Is there anything we can do to fix this? Because I want them to see this prototype.
Well, as you know, we think of Macintosh as a sort of magic machine, and it's really something special. So I think if you click on the resume button there, John, something special will happen.
Now, one of the things that people don't know about the Macintosh is that Macintosh is self-correcting, and more often than not, it can self-correct itself when it has a system error. So let's see what happens. I told you we had a very smart toolbox.
It should be just a second now, John. I think it's done.
Good. Well, let's give it a try.
All right. Actually, John, that demo was done in Macromine Director. It's a little fun piece that we put together for your presentation here in Tokyo.
You gave me a scare there for a moment. Okay, now we're going to bring up the News Navigator. And the News Navigator is a pretty good, I think, representation of what P3 TV could look like, what a personalized interactive television system might look like. This has a series of windows. Some of these windows are video windows. For example, I can point to a window and click on it.
Welcome to News Navigator, interactive information delivery technology. This demonstration is presented by Apple Computer and CNN Headline News. You can navigate between the messaging system and News Navigator by clicking on the icons under my picture. For Headline News, I'm Anna Hovind. I'll continue to provide instruction when you click here.
Now, what we did at EduCom, which is the higher education consortium in the United States that meets several times a year, was that we set up kiosks throughout the convention site. And this was not pre-taped material. What we were doing was we had a direct link via cable with the CNN studio going over Ethernet, compressed images, decompressed, and then stored on the Macintosh in order to create this personalized interactive television. So, for example, we can go in and navigate, because it's a navigator, much like the Knowledge Navigator. This is a news navigator. And at that time, the stories were about Gorbachev winning the Nobel Prize. So let's go in and take a look at something like that.
The Kremlin chief edged out such luminaries as Nelson Mandela and Václav Havel to become the first Soviet head of state so honored.
Now, what makes personalized television different is that you don't just sit there and watch, as we saw with that little window, but you can say, I want to know more. I'd like to find out other things. In this case, we can go in with text and we can scroll down and explore and find out other information. With linking tools, with HyperCard, It's possible to link to other databases. And you can see over time that it will be possible to have very wide-ranging information sources that can be distributed either over CD-ROM devices or over cable television or other means, fiber optics eventually, to be able to create a personalized television format. So let's go back in, and remember this was shown in Atlanta, Georgia, which is the headquarters for CNN and was the host city for this EduCom event. At that time, the World Series was taking place. So we can go into sports. And let's see, let me go back into content a second again. I can play this video.
The pitching matchup, if you haven't heard by now, a pair of right-handers smoked Dave Stewart for the A's against Jose Rio. Bad news for Oakland. Walt Weiss, who's suffering from a sprained left knee, apparently hasn't recovered well enough to be added to the A's roster. He was unable to take part in today's workout.
Now, with P3 TV, you'll be able to browse through. So we can really look at anything that has been stored. Initially, I think we'll see CD-ROM type products that will use this technology, but they may be in the sports field, they may be in the entertainment field, they may be in the education field, they may be in the information field. For example, information could be maps on how to find your way through Tokyo for a foreign visitor. For sports, it might be a golf program that would allow you to play golf, but if you remember with virtual reality, we had the possibility of putting ourselves into the using experience. So when you hit the golf shot, my shot may not be as good as yours, and so I may end up in the sand trap, and then I go to get out of the sand trap, but before I do that, I want to check with the golf pro to find out what are the best techniques. So then I can go back in and check in another window or see a text form or maybe have it spoken to me. And you begin to see how the user can choose what information they want, what will keep their interest. And this is a very different experience than the television we know today, which is essentially sitting there and watching as a viewer in a very passive relationship. So that's a prototype idea of where we think multimedia technologies can go. But as I said earlier, it cannot be done just by the computer industry. It cannot be done just by the consumer electronics industry. It will require an extraordinary cooperation. The reason why I am showing this vision for multimedia here in Japan is that I believe it cannot be done successfully without the relationships and cooperation from Japanese industry. And I believe that it will require the entertainment industry, Hollywood, as well as the Japanese entertainment industry, as well as entertainment industry in other parts of the world, to see a commercial opportunity, that there will be enough platform devices out there that it can become attractive to build programs, software programs of content, not just applications as we've known in computers. And if all of those things can come together, then I think we have the chance to see the emergence of new kinds of industries in the 1990s, just as we saw new kinds of industries in the 1980s. But I hope today that you get some appreciation as to why those of us who work with Macintosh, who use Macintosh, are so excited about the technologies that are embedded in this system software. It is a balance between hardware and software trade-offs that allows us to bring the cost of these platforms down. For example, the Macintosh LC has only 27 chips on its logic board. The comparable MS-DOS Intel compatible product has about 4 times as many devices on the logic board. The reason is that we are able to make the trade-offs between what should be implemented in hardware, what should be done in software. We do a lot more ASIC design and less discrete components. And all of this helps to bring the cost of the technology down. And I believe that it is the ability to work all of the various technologies, from hardware to software to development environments like HyperCard, balancing all of those together is what's going to be required to make multimedia a technical success, and to make it a business success is going to take the cooperation of many leading companies in a number of different industries. Thank you very much for attending this conference today, and I look forward to meeting many of you over the next number of hours here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Almost from the beginning of the written word, communication has come in 2 flavors: very impressive or very affordable. The recipe changed at times, but the flavors were always the same: impressive or affordable. And for a while, it looked as though the computer age would limit us to the same 2 choices. Printing could either be impressive or affordable, but not both. Until now. At Apple, we've been working very hard to bring you impressive laser quality printing at very affordable prices. In fact, our newest and very affordable printer, the Style Writer, produces type and graphics that are every bit as impressive as those you'll get from our highest performance printers. Apple now offers a full line of printers you can choose from. They're all designed to work beautifully with any Macintosh computer. Unlike other printers that need extras that cost more, such as font cartridges, cards, and cables, our printers come complete with everything you need. The only thing you need to do is plug in a single cable, like this. And all 3,500 programs that run on Macintosh will work with your printer, like this. Which means get an Apple printer today, and you could be getting results today. Great results. Laser quality output. Sharp text. Beautiful graphics. On everything from envelopes to manuscripts, transparencies to reports. And what you see on screen is exactly what you get on paper. And Apple's TrueType font technology makes type look great at all sizes, on screen and on paper. Every printer we make is designed to work reliably day in and day out, week after week, year after year, with only a minimal amount of maintenance. With 6 great Apple printers to choose from, the question isn't whether you need an Apple printer to go with your Apple computer. The question is, which Apple printer do you need? The Apple Style Writer is a revolutionary printer at a revolutionary price. It's perfect for all kinds of people, from starving students to top executives. The Style Writer can help make your analysis more clear. Your words come to life, and your illustrations more dynamic. It can even help you look impressive in front of an audience of hundreds. The Style Writer can handle envelopes, transparencies, and all kinds of paper. And it takes advantage of TrueType to give you crisp text at any size. It won't make much of a dent in your wallet, and it won't take a lot of space on your desk or anywhere else. The Image Writer is Apple's versatile and dependable dot matrix printer. Anything you can create with an Apple computer, you can print with an Image Writer printer. Text in a variety of fonts, and graphics. You can print on tractor feed paper, single sheet paper, and even multiple part forms. Image Writer printers are so versatile that they've won the hearts of people all over the world. And the list of all the wonderful things they're doing with the Image Writer goes on and on. Laser printing has never been this affordable. The Apple Personal Laser Writer LS provides great results, and it prints up to 4 pages per minute. It can even print one document while you're working on another. With your own Personal Laser Writer LS, you might be amazed at the things you're able to produce all by yourself. And the people you work with might be so impressed that they'll want to use it too. You have 2 choices. You could get each of them their own Personal Laser Writer LS, or you could get one Personal Laser Writer NT, which can be connected to a network of computers and used by your entire group. The Personal Laser Writer NT also offers PostScript printing, so your group can print even the most complex graphics. They'll be happy, and you can keep your Personal Laser Writer LS all to yourself. In business, there never seem to be enough hours in the day. You never really get enough time to do all the things you have to do. If things move pretty quickly in your office, you should consider choosing from the fastest printers we offer, the LaserWriter 2 printers. The LaserWriter 2 NT can easily be connected to a network of computers, so it can be shared by your entire group. It can print up to 8 pages per minute. And it offers PostScript printing, so you can print even the most complex graphics quickly. The LaserWriter 2 NT will help you get great work done faster, which means that come closing time, even the busiest people in your office might get to do something special. Go home on time. Some projects are always a little more challenging than others. Either they're large, or they're complicated, or both. Perhaps you're working on something that includes very complex graphics, a report or a long newsletter, or maybe even something as elaborate as a magazine. You might consider our highest performance printer, the LaserWriter 2 NTX. It offers you everything the LaserWriter 2 NT offers, and more. The LaserWriter 2 NTX comes with a powerful 68020 processor, which can greatly reduce the time it takes to process your documents, which means you won't have to wait very long for even the toughest printing jobs. If you want even faster performance, you can connect the printer to a hard disk to store fonts. You'll be able to process documents quickly, even documents that use a lot of fonts. And because the LaserWriter 2 NTX supports both TrueType and PostScript, you'll get the best results possible every time. So when all is said and done, everything will look great, just the way you planned it. You've just seen the results of the hard work we've done at Apple to bring you impressive laser quality printing at affordable prices. We offer a full line of printers to choose from, and no matter which Apple printer you choose, it'll be easy to set up. Each one comes complete with everything you need and all of our printers offer exceptional printed results. Whether you're looking for convenient laser quality printing at an affordable price, an easy way to print on continuous sheet paper or forms, laser printing for yourself or for your group, or the very fastest laser printing and imaging as well as PostScript compatibility, Apple has what you're looking for. After all, what is freedom of expression without freedom of choice?
At Apple in Fremont, California, people and machines work together to build the highest quality personal computers in the industry. This facility combines state-of-the-art equipment with a skilled workforce to achieve manufacturing excellence. First, certified suppliers deliver high-quality material to the Apple receiving dock. Then, logistics personnel remove material from its shipping containers, count it, and place it in a storage bin called a tote. This material receives a bar-coded serial number, which is entered into an MRP2 inventory system. Part number, vendor number, PO number, and quantity are all bar-coded on the shipping bill. Logistics personnel put enough material in each tote to adequately supply the assembly line. The raw material needed to build a Macintosh circuit board then moves toward the automated storage and retrieval system, known as the ASRS. This computer-controlled carousel system rotates to provide access to each tote. Totes move to the ASRS and are automatically inserted into the next available storage slot. The entire operation is monitored and controlled by Macintosh computers and trained personnel. When a request for material comes through, the ASRS selects the correct carousel and tote and delivers it to the pickup station. At this stage, the Automatic Guided Vehicle, or AGV, picks up the requested material. Then the AGV moves to the delivery location, following the black and white tiles on the floor. At the beginning of the assembly line, an operator loads a printed circuit board into a screen printer machine. The bare circuit board aligns to the assembly fixture using a video camera, which verifies known points on the board with a stored pattern in the machine. Then, solder, in the form of paste, presses onto the board through a brass stencil. This solder will later hold the electrical components in place. This screen printing operation is similar to creating silkscreen designs on fabric. Pick and place machines automatically inspect electrical components before placing them on the circuit board. A rotating tool head then places the parts on the top side of the board, where the solder paste was deposited. This process is known as surface mount technology. A skilled operator monitors the equipment to keep the machines filled with components and to ensure proper operation. Because of the various sizes and assembly requirements of the components, several different machines are used. Then, in an infrared oven, the solder paste melts or flows and binds the components to the top side of the board. This process is known as infrared reflow. The circuit board now flips over so that small components can be attached to the bottom side. The twin stations on this pick-and-place machine temporarily glue tiny components to the flip side of the board. One station glues, the other places. These components will be soldered to the board later in the assembly process. The circuit board is subjected to infrared reflow to harden the glue, and then it flips back to the top side. The operator enters a bar-coded serial number which is used for real-time data collection and tracking. A mechanical shuttle moves the circuit board across walkways so that people have access to all areas of the manufacturing process. The assembly line is designed in a U-shape to conserve space, and that requires that the circuit board be turned 90 degrees to continue on its journey. Robots pick up components which are tedious to insert by hand. These parts are picked up from a specially designed feeder mechanism. Small components like these speaker connectors automatically present themselves to the robot arm for insertion. If a component does not fit in the first few tries, the robot will pick up a new one and retry the insertion. All parts that have wire pins or tabs that go through the circuit board are clinched from underneath to hold them in place. This eyelet setter or rivet press secures any large connectors which are located at the edge of the board and which need extra strength. Some large components have to be hand-placed. A computer user may plug additional circuit cards, such as memory or a communication modem, into these larger connectors. The circuit board now contains all of its components. An operator makes a final visual check to be sure that the board is ready for soldering and, again, enters the bar-coded serial number into the online quality information system. A wave solder machine does the final soldering. Here, the bottom of the board is first coated with solder flux. This substance prepares the surface so that the solder will adhere correctly. Molten solder at 470 degrees contacts the component leads and electrical circuit connections on the bottom of the board. Notice, the hot solder just touches the wire leads. The circuit board assembly is now complete. An operator trims any long component wires and visually inspects the board. Another operator now tests each circuit board by putting it on a set of metal pins built into a tester. The tester exercises circuits and tells her whether the board is defective or good. Boards which pass the electrical test move into specially designed carts and go by truck to a nearby building on site. Boards that fail stay behind for more tests. Using sophisticated diagnostic equipment, technicians isolate defective components and mark them with a red arrow. At another station, a skilled technician repairs or replaces the defective parts. The circuit board is then retested and sent on to the final stages of the assembly process, which we will see next. Meanwhile, a recreation area and fitness center are conveniently located on site. Whether on the shop floor or on the basketball court, teamwork is a key element to manufacturing excellence at Apple. Building 1, the original Mac factory facility, continues to be the center of production for the final assembly and shipment of Macintosh systems. Design for Manufacturability, or DFM, makes the assembly of a Macintosh computer simple and efficient. This operator easily installs the speaker assembly and the data cables for the disk drives. The disk drive mounting bracket, along with the floppy drive, inserts into the case. The hard drive snaps into place and the drive power and data cables are attached. Next, the operator installs the power supply for the computer, and the system is powered up to prepare for the first phase of testing. During this first phase, test cards are temporarily installed to allow software to exercise all areas of the system. An operator monitors the testing and verifies that the system is running correctly. The test cards are removed, and the top of the case is snapped on. Operators audit a select number of completed machines to monitor the quality of the assembly process. And then, the machines move into a run-in tower, where software exercises them continuously for 24 hours. When the Macintosh systems leave the run-in tower, they return to the assembly line on an elevator. Now the computers go through their final system tests. Any dirt, dust, or fingerprints are carefully wiped away. Then, a process monitoring Macintosh reads and verifies test results stored on a diskette. The system software loads automatically into the completed machine's hard disk. Next, an operator verifies the video image, and the completed system receives a permanent serial number and is bagged for shipment. If a system fails anywhere in the process, a conveyor takes it to a rework area. Here, a technician replaces any defective components and retests the system. Once the computers have passed all of their tests, operators begin the packaging process. Accessories such as a mouse, power cord, diskettes, and instruction booklets are packaged along with the Macintosh. A completed system and accessory kit automatically insert into a shipping box. Tape applicators seal the top and bottom, and the boxes move along a conveyor. Then, they collect together on a cardboard sheet to form a shipping pallet. A completed pallet is wrapped in plastic. The plastic wrapper protects the boxes and provides strength for the pallet. A forklift moves the completed pallet into a waiting truck. When the truck is fully loaded, it leaves the manufacturing facility and drives directly to Apple distribution centers. Working together, people and machines have created a complete Macintosh computer in about 36 hours.
It is my pleasure to introduce you to Apple's newest educational video, Learning. We have developed it to share with you our vision for transformational education. You'll see examples of active, cooperative, interdisciplinary, and individualized learning. You'll see teachers who function as coaches and mentors. And more importantly, you'll see students whose imaginations are on fire and for whom learning is the joy it should be. All of the examples you'll see incorporate technology that is possible today. Some of you may find this video a validation of the wonderful things you're doing now. Others may use it as a tool for technology planning. We believe the work you are doing now with computers is the future of American education. We're very supportive of your role in making this happen. And we're very proud of our role in providing the instructional technology that is already so much a part of American education. Enjoy, and thank you.
25 years ago, when I became a teacher, I believed that the young people of this country were its greatest asset. I chose teaching because I knew I could make a difference. Maybe that sounds idealistic, but I still believe it. Back then, it was just me, a textbook, and a piece of chalk. And I did pretty well with it, you know. Then the administration came and said, Mitchell, we're putting a computer in your classroom. I told them I didn't want one. Why, I couldn't think of anything I needed a computer for.
Sometimes I worry that I'm boring them. I mean, it's hard to get kids to care about physics.
Physics is so boring. What does physics have to do with anything?
And liftoff of the space.
Okay, for both classes, physics and civics. Let's talk about your team projects for a minute. You need to show how physics affected the course of history. Or you can do it the other way around and trace a historical event which led to an advancement in science.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
We have a lot of bright students here, and we wanted to find a way to challenge them. We wanted to make the subjects more dynamic.
This approach allows us to do things we could only dream of before. Our students quickly discover how interconnected the events of our lives really are.
What's wrong? It's not working.
It's left again. I think the mass is too much for the force that we have.
Let's take off some rocks.
Yeah.
Okay. Put that over there.
All right.
It's gonna work now. Watch.
All right, now let it go.
Still not working.
No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind, and none will be so difficult or expensive to accomplish.
There it goes.
Ah!
No way! How did you guys get it to work? We worked on this for hours, and it's working perfectly now. Didn't you guys make the change in the gravitation formula? From Earth mass to lunar mass?
I love physics, and now my students can see it the way I see it. Physics is more than just a list of equations. It's about powerful things, like putting an astronaut on the moon.
And history isn't just names and dates. It's about struggle and sacrifice, events of national pride and difficult decisions. This is an interdisciplinary approach, and frankly, it's more interesting.
Hello? Hello? Testing, testing, testing.
Out from behind the doghouse, there came a big mud puddle. Hey, mud puddle! Julie Ann ran inside yelling, Mommy, Mommy, a mud puddle jumped on me. She gave a smell each. What's this word?
Sound it out. Like if it smelled bad, what kind of sound would you make?
Yeah.
That's the word. Exactly. Okay.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that all kids are created equal. I mean, it's just not true. Some are very quick and some are slower. Every student has a particular learning style. Auditory, visual, tactile. If I can find ways to involve all the senses, I have a much better chance of getting through.
She washed out her ears. She washed out her nose.
She even washed out her belly button.
Some of my students have special needs. I know, for instance, that every year I'm going to have 1 or 2 students with learning disabilities. And I have a growing number of students who speak English as a second language.
Ombligo. Belly button.
So, how do you know when you're making a difference? I know I'm making a difference. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not anything dramatic. It's a small victory, like when a student tries something new for the first time, like making a book for the first time. When I see that happening, that's how I know I found the right approach, that I'm really getting through.
So how's school, Slugger?
Pretty good.
What are you doing in class?
Nothing.
Out of schedule.
Here is our mid-semester report. I want to let you know what we're studying, how your child is doing in class, how Alex is doing in class.
So, Alex, what didn't you do in school today?
What? Mom, school is school.
I know, but what are you studying, honey?
Rocks.
Rocks.
The class is learning about continental drift, movement of the Earth's continents, and how this movement causes earthquakes and volcanoes.
Alex, honey, how's math?
Fine.
How's English?
Fine.
How about the French class?
Fine.
Alex, I got a letter today from your teacher.
Oh, yeah?
And she's included some information about what you've been doing, what you're studying, your grades.
Is it bad?
Well, I'll just have to read it to you. She says,
Alex is a fine student. He contributes a great deal to our discussions and has many thoughtful insights.
Yes!
All right.
He's a good student.
That's nice.
It was graduation night, and I had to give a speech to my class. I was so nervous. I was convinced everyone was waiting for me to make a mistake. Everyone except Principal Bradley. He knew I could do it. Now that I'm the principal, nothing has changed, really. When I go on stage, I still have to worry about how well I present my information. Believe me, it goes far beyond just telling the school board and the parents what I think. I've got to educate them, convince them, move them to action. Thank you. Thank you. Today, I'm going to make some very strong recommendations. Some of the things I have to say may surprise you. But to build an educational program that represents the changing needs of our community requires us to accept greater challenges and responsibilities. You see, Keller High is growing up a lot faster than we may think. This is what our student population and cultural diversity figures looked like less than 5 years ago. But today, well, I think you'll agree, it's a very, very different picture. This kind of dramatic change presents us with the opportunity to help. No matter how good my analysis is, if I can't get others to see it the way I do, I'm never going to convince them of anything, let alone get them to do anything about it. Anytime I go on stage to make a presentation, it all comes down to one thing: the ability to persuade.
Could Alpine's town dump be killing the fish?
Or is it some other cause?
The town dump is a likely suspect. You're the mayor and it's an election year. What will you do?
I think we should protect the environment.
No. We should preserve Alpine's economy to keep all.
When we started this assignment, all I wanted to do was save Morrow Valley. That's where they're putting the new dump. But when we tried to find a new place for the garbage, we found out there weren't any easy answers.
I think you should keep town expenses low, because then you could have more money.
I still think we should preserve Alpine's economy first.
I think we should protect the environment.
No, I think we should study further.
We decided to take some of the ideas we got in class and do our own report for open house. We wanted to show all the different ways we could get rid of garbage, and I wanted us to use lots of pictures.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, hit record. Our dump is filling up, but no one can agree on what to do.
Yeah, and we have beautiful land we want to save.
Maybe our report will help people decide what to do. I still want to save this valley. It just doesn't seem right to fill it all up with garbage, but I know it might happen. I guess you can't only think about what you want. You have to think about what's best for everybody.
You want me to take what?
I was kind of surprised when Cooper signed up for journalism. I mean, Cooper Howard?
Okay, so I'm not an A student.
Okay, I got the final printout here.
Okay, so I'm not a B student either.
Okay, you guys, we're on a deadline. So, what do we have for the next edition? David.
What about an article on student government?
What about the student government? They don't do anything.
Well, okay then, Cooper. Well, what should we write a story about?
How about the 8th grade campout? They don't know what to bring.
That's a good idea.
Cooper has a learning disability. We weren't actually certain of it until he was in the 7th grade, and he had found ways to hide the problem. But we always knew he could do better. There you go. Writing was always especially frustrating for him. I mean, he was reversing words and letters. He was spending all of his time struggling with spelling and punctuation, and often he would just give up.
Go ahead, go with it. I'm really proud of you that you picked that word.
That doesn't mean that he isn't talented. I mean, he's got a lot of great ideas. I just want him to focus on content. Then we can go back and we can work on the spelling and the punctuation. Doing it this way, he's free to focus on what he wants to say. Now he can write it and change it until he's happy with it.
Okay, scan him. This paper's a team effort. When it finally comes out, well, it's all one paper. We all did it.
We all review each other's work. And it's okay, because everybody wants the paper to be right. Everybody.
Cooper Howard on the front page. Unbelievable.
Then they said, Mitchell, do you want the computer or not? I told them no. I'd been teaching the Civil War for 25 years just fine without it. But then they insisted that I take one. And against my better judgment, I did. Now I've been using this computer for practically everything in my class. But to tell you the truth, I actually can't remember how I got along without it. Why, it's let me do things I've always wanted to do, and it's got me doing things I never thought I could do. Why, just the other day I said to myself, Mitchell, it's time for you to step down. You've been teaching the Civil War for 25 years. Move on. And then I said to myself, no way. You're just getting started. Thank you.
Our first contestant is Donald Brown, VP, CE Software. Our next contestant, Reese Jones, President of Farallon. And last but not least, Mark Cantor, founder of Macromind.
Welcome, contestants. A slate of self-made men here today. Mark Cantor, good to have you with us here today. I've heard it said that you are the father of multimedia. How exactly did you give birth to multimedia?
Well, we originally made video games, and then everyone decided that video game technology was great, and then they decided to build it into computers, and we were in the right place at the right time.
Well done. Good explanation. Rhys Jones, you're with Fairlawn. I understand the early days of Fairlawn tie in with the Berkeley Macintosh user group. What can you tell us about that?
Both were in my house. Both took up so much space that I had to move out.
Well, we congratulate you and Fairlawn on your success. Glad to have you here. Don Brown, you got to start with various shareware applications. Can you tell us about some of those and take us back to the early days?
Yeah, basically, when we first got started, we didn't have money to do fancy advertising campaigns like some of the other people who said, okay, we're going to go through the user groups and feed off other people. And it turned out to work very well for us.
I see that it did. And you had a user group meeting tonight, I understand. I hope that went well.
Yes.
Glad to have you here today. Now, just reviewing the ground rules, you will all be spotted 1,000 points to begin with. You will remember to phrase your response in the form of a question, and on your board there is also one daily double concealed somewhere. Let's fill in the dollar values on our second round board and look at the second round categories. Those categories are: name that creator type, love that Jean-Louis, Macintosh potpourri, viscerally Apple, in which we deal with machines based on Macintosh ROMs, awards, and lastly, guys named Guy. Don Brown, as the contestant having traveled furthest to join us here today in San Francisco, it's up to you to please start today's game.
Well, let's start with Mac potpourri for 100.
Mac potpourri for 100. The answer: it's the only animal found in the standard Geneva font. I understand at least some of you are programmers over there. Is this correct? Correct question: what is the bunny? The bunny is in the Geneva font as a special character.
Well, we did so well. Let's try that again with Mac potpourri for 200.
For 200, answer: one of Wozniak's earliest working computers was named after this beverage. Again, no tries. What is the cream soda computer? The correct response.
Mac potpourri for 300.
Answer: around the Apple campus, this was supposedly a derisive term for Regis McKenna's omnipresent flunkies. Mark.
Rejets.
Rejets is correct for 300. Well done, Mark. You control the board.
Awards for 100.
Awards for 100. The answer: Mac users' Editor's Choice Awards are, appropriately enough, statues of a man apparently free-throwing this kind of Mac. Don.
What is a Mac Plus?
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Rhys or Mark?
What is Mac SE?
What is a Mac SE? That is correct. If you look closely, it is in fact an SE. Well done, Rhys, and you control the board.
Viscerally Apple for 100.
Viscerally Apple for 100. The answer: this Mac laptop's makers vigorously deny it's a computer. They claim it's merely a Macintosh peripheral. Rhys.
Let's see. They used to be called the Wallaby. What is the Wallaby? It's now called the
I can't take that answer.
Okay.
Don or Mark? Don.
What is Outbound?
What is Outbound? Correct, for 100. Don, please select.
Viscerally Apple for 200.
Answer: this portable Mac, packaged with a private eye monitor and the voice navigator input device, is the only Mac you can wear on your head. Don.
What is the virtual Mac?
No, I'm sorry. Incorrect.
What is Personix?
Personix? No, that's incorrect.
What is the Colby Walk Mac?
No, that too is an incorrect answer. As reported in MacWeek magazine, the correct answer, correct question: what is the Stealth Mac? Don, you still control the board.
Viscerally Apple for 300.
300. Answer: this add-on card, due to ship any day now, will allow an IBM PC to run Mac software. Don.
What is the Hydra?
The Hydra is correct for 300.
Viscerally Apple for 400.
Answer. This Atari ST cartridge, manufactured by Gadgets by Small, was the first product to allow a non-Mac to run HyperCard.
I remember it.
The correct question, what is the Spectre GCR card by
That's
Gadgets
not
by
one
Small?
No way.
Don, please select.
Viscerally Apple for 500. Let's get rid of that.
Mercifully
category.
closing this category, the answer, it's the Mac compatible you can build yourself, as detailed in an early series of articles in Computer Shopper.
It's the one from Hong Kong. We give up.
No tries. Question, what is the Hackintosh? The Hackintosh was described in the Computer Shopper. Don.
Let's go back to one we've done so well in, the Mac Potpourri.
Mac Potpourri for which value?
All right.
The Daily Double. Don, you currently have 1,000 points. Ironically, the same total you started with. It's up to you to please bid some fraction of that amount, or all of it if you desire.
Is 0 permitted? I'll bid 500.
500. Answer. Loud Harmonicas was the name of one of the ROM sets used in this model Mac.
What is the Mac 512KE?
No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. 500 leaves you with a score of 500. The correct question, what is the Mac Plus? Loud Harmonicas debuted with the Plus. Don, you still control the board. Please select.
Well, let's get that score down to 0 by going Mac Potpourri for 500.
The answer, it was Apple's first briefcase-sized transportable computer. Reese.
What is the Apple I?
The Apple I is correct for 500. Well done. Reese, please select.
Love that Jean-Louis.
Love that Jean-Louis for 100?
Yeah.
Answer. From Jean-Louis' point of view, it's the side he wears an earring on.
From his point of view?
From Jean-Louis' point of view.
Looking forward.
If you were Jean-Louis, what side is your earring on? The correct question, what is left? The left side. Reese, you control the board.
Jean-Louis for 200.
Answer. Jean-Louis used one of his first MacWeek columns to lambaste this online service. Reese.
CompuServe.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Mark.
It is Prodigy.
Prodigy is correct for 200. Mark, please select.
Guys named Guy for 100.
Guys named Guy for 100. Answer.
Kawasaki. Oh, sorry.
He's the amiable host of such Sesame Street game shows as What's My Breakfast, The Price is Correct, and This Is Your Life, Loaf of Bread. Reese.
The kids aren't old enough, man. Guy Smiley.
In the form of a question would be?
Who is Guy Smiley?
Is correct for 100. Reese, you control the board.
Name that creator type for 100.
Answer. SIT Bang. Don.
What is Stuff It?
Stuff It is correct for 100.
Name that creator type for 200.
The answer, MACA. Don.
What is MacWrite?
Correct for 200.
Ringer.
Name that creator type for 300.
Answer, ERIK. Don.
What is the Finder?
Is correct. You control the board.
Name that creator type for 400.
Answer, ARTZ. Mark.
Arts and Letters.
Incorrect. Reese or Don? No tries. What is Adobe Illustrator? Don, you still control the board.
Name that creator type for 500.
Closing out the category, NX Hat N. Don.
What is Right Now?
That's correct. Well done, Don.
Let's go for awards for 200.
Awards for 200. Answer. These unofficial awards, as judged by MacWeek's Ezra Shapiro, salute excellence and negligence in their vague field of Mac graphic arts. Question, what are the EZIs, the EZI Awards?
Awards for 300.
Answer. This legendary MIT hacker recently won a MacArthur Genius Grant for his work with the Open Software Foundation. Correct question, Cambridge, Massachusetts, Richard Stallman. Who is Richard Stallman? Don, please select.
Awards for 400.
The answer, some of Mac users' European eddies are statues of a lead character in this classic Fritz Lang science fiction movie. Don.
What is Metropolis?
Metropolis is correct for 400.
Awards for 500.
Closing out the category, Macintosh Jeopardy's own trophy is named after this animated cartoon character. The correct question for which one of you will be competing this afternoon, what is the Rocket J. Squirrel Memorial Trophy? Don, you control the board.
Guys named Guy for 200.
Guys named Guy for 200. The answer, this NHL superstar won back-to-back league MVPs in 1977 and 78.
I'm sure.
Who is Guy Lafleur? Guy Lafleur. Don.
Guys named Guy for 300.
This SCTV station manager doesn't needlessly use a wheelchair to get sympathy. He uses it to get respect. Correct question in this case, who is Guy Caballero?
Guys named Guy for 400.
Answer. In 1605, he was involved in a plot to blow up the British Parliament building. Today, he has his own British national holiday. Mark.
Guy Fawkes.
In the form of a question would be?
Who is Guy Fawkes?
Correct, for 400.
Love that Jean-Louis for 300.
For 300, the answer. Jean-Louis used this phrase to describe applications that would function well under System 7. Don.
What is Studley?
Correct. What is 7-0 Studley?
Guys named Guy for 500.
For 500, answer. Guys
Let's go with this.
Okay. Love that Jean-Louis for 500. Upon his appointment as marketing director of the Mac division, Jean-Louis ordered vanity license plates with this motto. Don.
What is Open Mac?
What is Open Mac? Correct for 500. Well,
guys named Guy for 500.
Finishing off the board.
Who is this guy?
Guys named Guy for 500. Answer. La Mer Sauvage is one work by this French short story author.
This is really bad.
Correct question, who is Guy de Maupassant? Guy de Maupassant. Closing out the category, I don't know if we can get back to that or not.
You can't, you blew it. It's gone.
We'll leave that for now. Let's review our scores after the first and only round of Macintosh Jeopardy Elimination Round. In third place is Rhys Jones with 1,200 points, followed closely by Mark Cantor with 1,400. Currently in first place, Don Brown, 2,800 points. Let's now move to Final Jeopardy. And reveal today's Final Jeopardy category. Category, a broad one, hardware. Please take this time to prepare your bids while I remind the audience about Macintosh Jeopardy San Francisco Expo Finals, which will be held today in room 106 at 5 p.m., featuring the two winners from this morning's round in combination with Bob Levitas, the winner from Macintosh Expo Boston last August. Today at 5 p.m. Has everyone prepared their bids? Reese, are you finished? Okay. Let's look at today's Final Jeopardy clue in the category hardware. The answer. Of all the Macs currently in production, it's the one with the weakest power supply. Good luck. Has everyone finished? I see they have. Rhys Jones, currently in third place with 1,200 points. Let's see your question. Correct question, what is the Mac Portable? No, I'm sorry, that's an incorrect answer. Let's see what you risked. He risked it all. 1,200 points, taking him down to 0.
How come the Mac Pro not have the weakest?
It has an external power supply. It's not inside the Mac. Mark Cantor, currently with 1,400 points. Let's check your final Jeopardy question. What is the Macintosh LC? Is correct. Let's see what you risked. He bet it all, currently with 2,800 points in a tie with Don Brown. Moving to Don, let's check his answer. What is the Mac Portable? No, I'm sorry, we know that to be incorrect. What did he risk? 200 points, leaving him with a total of 2,600 points. Mark Cantor, you will be joining us this afternoon, 5 o'clock.